Hello. I'm going to quickly read from the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 11 to 13. It says, I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. I've read it in a different version where it says, I can do all things through Christ who give me strength. Being content is one of the things that we are expected to do as Christians. Being content is about being, it's not about being comfortable in a difficult situation. It's about knowing that whatever situation you find yourself in, God remains God. And knowing that we still should be worshiping God, we still should be living for God, we still should be knowing that God is still powerful, regardless of where we find ourselves. And this approach will also help us because we don't really know what's going to happen to us in life. But when we fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, we know that we are okay. When we walk through the fire, we know He will be there with us. You know, if we feel like, oh, maybe God is not going to deliver us from this situation, we still know that He still remains God because He is all powerful. His will is what needs to happen in our lives. We cannot go anywhere without God and prosper or be okay. Prosperity from a Christian perspective is being in the will of God. It's not really about material stuff like sometimes people think. And our lives as Christians have seasons. We can't always be in a season of plenty. That is not being realistic. There are times where we fall sick. There are times where we lack. There are times where things don't go our way. And if we have a mentality where we think that everything is always going to be okay, this is where we can easily be depressed when things don't turn out the way that we think they would. And also, how will we know the strength of God, the power of God in our lives if we don't ever go through hard times? This is where Paul learned. He said that when he is weak, God is made strong in him. It is through the circumstances of our lives that we see that God is consistent. God is not shaken by the troubles that we go through. And the magnitude of the trouble also does not stress God. He's never stressed. God is all powerful. There isn't a situation that He cannot stop. And sometimes all the difficult situations are actually a blessing in disguise because it's about us. We're the ones who need to change, not God. We're the ones who need to fix our eyes on Christ. Sometimes we may be in paths that, somehow make us forget that we are who we are because of Christ. So sometimes we need that reminder. For some people, will remember, most of us will remember God a lot more when we're going through a hard time. We'll remember to pray because that hard time is constantly making us look for a solution. And we are then brought to our knees because we remember that we got no help outside of God. So I just wanted to share this about being content. Even when we have plenty, we should remember that we should not think that we have got all the things we have through our power. That is pride. And also, when we are content and when we depend on God, we will remember to be humble with other people. When you see somebody struggling, you will know that, it's not because you are better than them that you have what you have on you or you are where you are. It's because of the grace of God, and it's because you have fixed your eyes on Jesus, or God has been gracious to you for that season of your life. But let's remember that Jesus is our everything. Jesus is all we need. It does not matter where you are in life, what season you are in life. in all situations, let's remember that he is the one who deserves to reign. He's the one who deserves to be on the throne. He deserves to be given the glory, the honor, and the adoration, and we lift him up and him alone. Those of us who have lived to see Christ in our lives and around other people, we know that life without Christ is very painful. We know that it's such because the Bible says that his yoke is easy. Life is much easier with God. It doesn't mean the challenges will not come. Some will come precisely because you're a Christian. But we can do all things through Christ. We are more than conquerors through Christ who gives us strength. Thank you very much for listening to this video. Remember to remain content wherever you are. Remember to trust in Jesus. Remember that God is never late. He will show up in your situation right on time. Great is thy faithfulness, O Lord, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand has provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.